Hello and welcome to Fight Picks with the Pros. My name is Chris Holdsworth, and today we're going to review 4 fights for the upcoming UFC Fight Night card featuring Dominick the Devastator Reyes versus Jiri Prochazka in the main event. Today I'm joined by Combates America bantamweight fighter Hector Fajardo. Stick around to the end and see our picks for the main event. Let's go.
Introducing Fight Picks with the Pros. Brought to you by FanDuel.
All right, bear with me on this one. We got a lot of tough names. I'm going to try my best. The first fight we're going to talk about is Merab the Machine Dvalishvili versus Cody the Spartan Stamen. Man, I know both these guys. I've been watching them for quite a while. Merab always likes to mad dog me every time we see each other. He's got like the dog eyes. He just looks like a competitor, and that's cool. He always brings the fight too. He seems like one of those fighters that never stops. He's constantly putting the pressure on you. He's getting takedowns. He's getting ground and pound, and he's swinging for the fences, man. That guy does not care. He will go out on his shield if he gets hit with something. But, he's fighting Cody Stamen, and, Cody's been around for a while. He's fought some of the, better guys in the division with a 19-3 record, 6 TKOs and 2 subs. I know our boy Vinny is a good friend of Cody. So I'm looking forward to this fight. Both of these guys, they're gonna come out banging. I know Merab's gonna try to take Cody down. That's like his go-to game. He's gonna try to pin him against the cage and just make it a dirty fight. He doesn't want to give Cody any space to strike because that's where I feel Cody is the best. What do you think about this matchup?
It's a great matchup for the bantamweight division. Both of these fighters are very similar in style, in a sense. I really like Cody Stamen in this fight. I don't think Merab's going to be able to bulldog him around as much. Stamen's been he's been looking good his last couple fights. I don't know. I'm feeling Stamen in this one stylistically.
Yeah, so Merab's coming out of the Cerro Longo fight team.
Mm-hmm. I
saw he just trained with one of my buddies in Las Vegas, and I DM'd him. I was like, hey, how's Merab's grappling? He was like, man, he's actually really good. His wrestling is legit. So, from what I see on, TV and from what I'm hearing from some of my friends, he seems pretty legit. Yeah. All those guys from Cerro Longo team are legit. 5 wins in a row. He started the UFC 0-2. Yeah. So he's put a lot of big win or a string of wins together. So that tells you either he's getting better or his confidence is growing. And sometimes it's both of those that are the deciding factor. But then you got Stamen. He's 2-2 and won his last 5. He's fought a lot of tough guys, and man, I'm going to go with Merab. I think Merab's going to, put the pressure on him, and it's going to be hard for Cody to keep that pressure off. And I think Merab's going to be able to get those takedowns and just kind of make it a dirty fight. And he's not going to win by much, but he's just going to win just enough to win a decision. I'm going with Merab by decision on this one.
Yeah, this fight's really a toss-up. It's a toss-up. It can really go. It's going to be a close fight. It can really honestly go either way. I'm going to go Cody Stamen by decision. I think it's going to be a split.
Okay, so I got Merab by decision. You got Cody by decision. Let's go. Moving on to the next one, we got Cub Swanson versus Giga Chicas. So overview, Giga is a surging contender in the featherweight division, going on 4-0 in 2020. Swanson is entering the octagon, first time in his career, 38 fights without having his mentor and manager who passed away in December. It's always rough when, you have a close, person in your life, pass away. You got to battle through a lot of emotions and figure out why you're fighting and seeing all and figuring out everything. So I wish Cub the best with that. I'm sure he got ready for this fight. He's no slouch. He's a vet in the game, so he knows he turned the corner on that, probably got past it, and he got ready to go to war. In my personal opinion, Giga striking is very unorthodox. He can strike from all angles, and he's got a lot of power in his kicks. I think his striking is going to be the deciding factor in this fight. I think he's going to be able to land the more effective strikes on Cub, and I honestly think he's going to get the finish on this one. I'm gonna pass it to you and give me your thoughts, and I'll give my fight pick and method of victory.
Yeah, I think it's a great matchup. Cub being the veteran, he's had some pretty. When he gets counted out, he seems to come back and win some fights. Just when people kind of think that he's kind of finished or whatnot. For example, like that Chrome Gracie fight was pretty dope. Chicas, though, he's been quietly running through the division. He's on a good streak.
Yeah.
He's coming from a great camp. He just has great momentum, and I just think this guy's he's in that prime position right now where he's fighting someone where he can take that name and let people know who he actually is. And I think that's going to be huge for him. That's going to motivate him, I think, because it's going to be like a coming out party for him. Depending how he does in this fight, there are going to be eyeballs on him, and people are they're gonna know who he is because he's been pretty under the radar the whole time, and he's been killing it. I like his style as well. He has great striking style.
Yeah, Giga's coming off 7 straight wins, 5 in the UFC. And, I follow, Barry Robertson on Instagram. He's a really good boxing coach, and I see him working with Giga. So Giga is trying to, fill some holes in his game. He already has crazy kickboxing, and now he's trying to sharpen up his boxing. So, good for him. I'm always a fan of guys who, are constantly trying to evolve every asset of their game. And I'm sure Cub is doing the same. But I think, Giga's striking is just going to be a little bit sharper. He's going to be a little bit faster. He's going to be able to land the more effective strikes. I'm going by Giga. I think he's going to get a TKO. He's going to hit him with something hard and probably finish him on the ground with some strikes.
I second that. I agree. I think Giga's going to get this fight. I believe he's going to finish Cub as well. I don't think it's going to be as fast, but I think eventually Cub's going to fold under the pressure. It's just I think the dude's he's coming in way too hot.
Yeah, for sure. All right, moving on to the next one. We got Sean Strickland versus Christoffer Joca. Overview, Brandon Allen said he wants the winner of this fight no matter what after his last win at UFC 261. If you know who Sean Strickland is, he's a fan of talking crap during his fights. He likes to stir things up and get things going. And when there was those no fan events, it was kind of cool because you can hear a lot more of the corners. You can hear a lot more if the fighters are talking in there. But, after last week's event, man, it's crazy. I'm sure you're not going to be able to hear as much as you were these last few events or past year of events. So, Sean Strickland coming out of Team Quest, 22-3, 10 TKOs with 4 subs, 3 straight wins in the UFC. So he's on a streak.
Yeah. He's
been looking good. And then you got Christoffer, who's coming out of ATT Phuket top team, 22-4, 6 TKOs and 1 sub. He has 3 straight wins in the UFC as well. So I'm gonna go with Sean Strickland on this. I think he's been showing a lot of improvement in his game. I've liked what I saw in these past few fights. I know he can finish you on the feet, and he can also finish you on the ground. But Christoffer's no slouch. He's got over 26 fights, and he's coming in at southpaw. So it's always kind of a different look when you're fighting a different stance fighter. So I'm gonna go with Sean Strickland by decision on this one. What do you got, Hector?
I will second that as well. Actually, I see it exactly the same way. This is a good matchup on paper. They both are running a pretty identical run right now. Both coming in hot. I like Sean Strickland as well. I got him by decision. Only on the fact that he's fighting a southpaw, so it's going to be a lot harder to get that finish. But, I see it the same way.
Cool. Let's talk about our early prediction. We're going to go Michael Chandler versus Charles Oliveira. So a little overview. Of course, Chandler's got one big win in the UFC. He finished Hooker quick. And then we have Charles Oliveira, who's just been finishing and beating all the best guys in the lightweight division. And I'm happy they're finally giving him his shot with a 30-8 record, 8 TKOs and 19 subs. He's a finisher, man, and he might not be best on the mic or do his antics, and sometimes the UFC doesn't really give those type of guys title shots.
Yeah.
But I'm happy to see that, what he's done and what he's earned, he's finally getting. So, man, then you got Michael Chandler. He's primarily a wrestler, but, now he's been knocking everybody out.
Yeah.
He's been showing the big power in his hands, and he's just been getting better and better training with Henry Hoof and those guys at, Sanford MMA. And I'm a huge fan of that team, and I like what they do with all their fighters. Here's my prediction on this. I think it's going to be very hard to take Michael Chandler down, and I don't think Charles Oliveira's striking is, crazy aggressive to the point where he's going to be like pinning Michael against I think Michael's going to be able to dictate the pace in this fight, and Charles is going to be kind of waiting for him a little bit too much. He's going to be waiting for either the big takedown or the big punch. So I think that's going to play in the benefit of Michael, because he's going to be able to set up his shots a lot better, because Charles is just going to be waiting, expecting something big or expecting a takedown. So I think Chandler is going to win this one. If it's not by a knockout in maybe like the second round, I think he'll get a TKO in the later rounds. But, man, I want to see Chandler versus a good jiu-jitsu guy, and we're going to see it now. That's always been like my thing. I was like, I want to see him versus a good jiu-jitsu guy. If it hits the ground, I want to see where his submission game is, and you're definitely going to see where it's at versus Oliveira. What's your prediction on this one?
I really like this matchup. I'm really glad Oliveira's got a chance to step into the spotlight a little bit more after beating Tony Ferguson. He's been on a hell of a run, and now he's getting some shine. The thing is, Chandler's been coming in really hot too. He knocked out Hooker. So it's like Chandler does really, really well against taller guys, and Charles Oliveira happens to be a taller guy. I think Chandler's going to start off real hot, and Oliveira's he's a great jiu-jitsu guy, but this fight starts on the feet. He has to somehow close that gap and get in Chandler's space. I don't think Chandler's going to give him that chance. I think he's going to start aggressively and probably crack him with an overhand. And the thing is, we've seen Oliveira get caught a few times. And again, him being taller, I don't think he's going to get a chance to clinch up and hit any of his transitions. I think it's going to be pretty similar to the Hooker fight. And that's just kind of how I see it. So I think it's going to be a first round knockout, in my personal opinion. I just think Chandler's coming in with a lot of momentum, and stylistically just matches up really well for him. Even though I do love Oliveira's grappling, I just don't think it's going to get that far.
Yeah, I agree. I agree the exact same. Chandler, his strengths are going to outweigh Oliveira's strengths in the striking, the power, the clinch. I don't think Oliveira's going to be able to implement any of his strengths in that fight. So I'm looking forward to that one.
It's time for the main fight pick of the evening.
All right, let's talk about the main event. Dominick, the Devastator Reyes, coming in at the plus 108 underdog versus Jiri Prochazka, coming in at the minus 132 favorite. So this is a light heavyweight bout. A little overview. This is Jiri is from Risen Fighting, and he's an unorthodox, funky striking, funky fighter. He's got 24 TKOs. That's crazy. 27-3 and 24 TKOs. So that just tells me either you got a lot of power in your hands and you just drop people and then finish them, or you just got a lot of power. Yeah. If you just finish people like that, you're probably touching them and then you're just jumping on them. And so he's definitely got the finisher aspect in his game. But he's gonna be fighting Dominick Reyes, who he's a young stud, very athletic, and we've all saw what he did to John Jones in their fight. That was a very competitive fight. I personally think that it could have went either way. But he's coming off a loss to the champ right now in that division, Jan. So let's see how he bounces back after that loss. What do you think of this one? Do you know anything about Jiri?
Yeah, so Jiri Prochazka, a lot of people don't know who he is based off the fact that he went on a run in Risen. So he's a very underrated, very under the radar fighter. Like, as soon as he stepped in and they matched him with Volkan, I was like, wait a second, I've heard this name before. And then I remembered, I was like, oh man, this dude's fought in Risen, like he's a beast. And then lo and behold, he murdered Volkan pretty bad. I like his style. I mean, the dude's a devastating fighter, and I think it's going to carry over. There hasn't been that drop off from performance from him being in risen to the UFC. He hasn't had that lag. I don't think it's going to change with this matchup. I've never been too high on Dominick Reyes, honestly. I think he got built up a little too fast, and then got fed to got to Jones, got to Blachowicz, and now I think his stock's a little bit low. I don't see him. I don't like the style matchup with Jiri, personally.
Yeah, he's coming off of 2 losses. Dominick Reyes is coming off of 2 losses. His last win was a KO over Weidman. So coming off of 2 losses, let's hope you're changing some things up and you're doing some things differently. And Jiri, like you say, Yuri's no joke. 24 TKOs. Anybody who can, has that many finishes, like, you got to watch out, at all times during the whole fight. And it's Yuri's 2nd fight in the UFC. So, man, I think I'm gonna pull with Jiri on this one. Even though I like Dominic, I just think coming off 2 back-to-back L's, Yuri's riding off some momentum. I'm gonna go with Jiri. I'm going with Jiri on this one. I think he's gonna TKO Dominic.
I agree. I second that. I think he's gonna TKO Dominic as well in devastating fashion. This kid's legit, and like I said, this is the wrong guy to try to bounce back off of.
89% KO and TKO
not
ratio.
The right guy to try to fix your career. That usually when we get to that point, that means they're trying to build him up.
Yeah.
So it's
11 fight win streak too.
Yeah. This is not a good bounce back fight for Dominic. So I have it the same way. I have Jiri finishing him. Probably gonna say 2nd round just to be I mean, it could be a first, but I'm gonna give Dominic the benefit of the doubt and give him to the 2nd round, honestly.
Yeah. I'm going with the same 2nd round TKO. I think Yuri's gonna land like a big hook of some sort and then finish him over the top of him. So thanks for watching Fight Picks with the Pros, brought to you by FanDuel. Please don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel. We'll see you next time.
Sweet.
Hello, everyone. Bruce Buffer here. Thank you for watching the MMA Surge YouTube channel. We hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to subscribe and get notified when we upload next.